Okay, besties, grab your iced coffee or your glass of wine, because today's story is one of those soulful, heart-touching convos that we need to have. Like, this isn't tea, this is tribute. We're talking about the one and only D'Angelo, the legend, the man who didn't just make music. He created a feeling. And I think it's time we give him his flowers, say rest in peace to a king, and thank him for everything he gave us through his sound. D'Angelo wasn't just a singer. He was a movement. He came out during a time when R&B was shifting, and he literally redefined soul for a whole new generation. His voice? That buttery, raspy, honey-dripped tone that could melt stress off your shoulders. His music wasn't loud or performative, it was smooth, intimate, and spiritual. He made you feel seen, made you fall in love, made you remember what real music sounds like. From Brown Sugar to Untitled, How Does It Feel? Every note felt like it was crafted straight from the heart. Let's be real. D'Angelo created a sound that influenced everybody. Artists like Maxwell, Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, and even modern stars like H.E.R. and Brent Faiyaz owe a lot to his style. He brought that neo-soul movement into mainstream culture and made it cool to be soulful again. When people talk about vibe music, that's him. He was one of the first to blend funk, jazz, and R&B in a way that sounded effortless, but was actually pure genius. Like Girl, you could listen to his songs and feel your whole mood change. That's a legacy. One thing about D'Angelo, he was mysterious. He didn't chase fame. Fame chased him. After his huge success, he kind of disappeared from the spotlight, and that made fans love him even more. Because you could tell he was a true artist, someone who cared more about the art than the attention. Behind the scenes, people say he battled with personal struggles and the pressure of perfection, but through it all, his music stayed pure. It's like he poured his pain and peace into every note. That's why even decades later, his songs still hit the soul. Now that he's gone, the internet has been filled with tributes. Fans from every generation have been posting clips, old interviews, live performances, just remembering how iconic he truly was. It's been emotional seeing everyone come together to honor him, but also beautiful, because it shows how timeless his music really is. His influence isn't gone. It's woven into every soulful track we hear today. D'Angelo didn't just create songs, he created moments that will live forever. So, from me to D'Angelo, thank you. Thank you for giving us real R&B, for being vulnerable in your lyrics, for showing men that it's okay to be soft, to love, to express, for making us fall in love with music again. Your sound was a gift to the world, and it's something we'll never forget. Rest in peace to a legend, a king, and a true artist. You'll forever be the soundtrack to love, healing, and late-night soul sessions. I just wanted to take a moment to celebrate a man whose music shaped an era. So if you grew up with Brown Sugar, or if your mom used to clean on Sundays playing D'Angelo in the background, leave a comment with your favorite song below. Let's celebrate his life together. And if you love stories like this, about the legends who made history and left their mark, make sure you hit subscribe, because we talk all things real, soulful, and inspiring right here on this channel. Love you, besties. Stay soft, stay soulful, and remember, real music never dies. Okay, besties, let's take it back to the very beginning, because before D'Angelo became the soulful legend we know today, he was just a little boy named Michael Eugene Archer, born on February 11th, 1974, in Richmond, Virginia. Like, imagine this soft-spoken kid growing up in the South, surrounded by music, faith, and culture. Literally the perfect recipe for a future music genius. His father was a Pentecostal minister, so gospel music was in his DNA. You know how some kids grow up watching cartoons? D'Angelo grew up watching his dad lead choirs, soaking in those harmonies and church rhythms before he even knew what fame was. Now this is where it gets real. He started playing the piano at just 3 years old. Like 3. By the time most kids were still learning their ABCs, D'Angelo was already learning. chords, and melodies by ear. His mom said he used to sit at the church piano for hours, just vibing and experimenting with sounds. And you can hear that gospel foundation in everything he's ever done. That deep, emotional connection to music started right there in that small Virginia church. You can tell that's where his soul learned how to sing before his voice ever did. By the time D'Angelo hit his teenage years, people in his hometown already knew he was special. Like, the talent was loud, even though he was quiet. He formed a group in high school called Michael Archer and Precise, and they started winning local talent shows left and right. He was that kid who didn't need auto-tune, didn't need flash, just raw talent. He spent hours writing songs, producing on cheap equipment, dreaming about one day, making it big. And girl, when I tell you he was manifesting greatness before that was even a buzzword, he really was. This was a young man with purpose. So after high school, D'Angelo knew he had to take his dream beyond Virginia. He packed up and headed to New York City, because if you wanted to make music back then, that was the place. He started doing demo tapes, performing in small showcases, and just trying to get noticed. It wasn't easy, but his voice was undeniable. He eventually caught the attention of record executives when he wrote a song for the group Black Men United called You Will Know, which became part of the Jason's Lyric movie soundtrack. That song, it changed everything. Suddenly, the industry started whispering his name. And that's when it really happened. In 1995, D'Angelo dropped his debut album, Brown Sugar. And baby, when I tell you it was, revolutionary, it changed R&B forever. He was only in his early 20s, but the maturity, the sound, the confidence, it was like he'd been doing it for decades. Brown Sugar, Lady, Cruisin', those songs were smooth, sexy, spiritual, and full of depth. That album wasn't just a debut, it was the blueprint for a whole new era of soul. And just like that, the quiet church boy from Virginia became the king of a movement called neo-soul. Once Brown Sugar hit, D'Angelo didn't just become a star, he became a symbol. Like, this was more than a debut album. It was a cultural reset. The mid-90s were filled with glossy R&B and hip-hop, but D'Angelo came in with something different. It was sensual but spiritual, confident but humble. Suddenly, he was the face of a new movement, the neo-soul revolution, right alongside artists like Erykah Badu and Maxwell. He wasn't just making music. He was setting a mood for a whole generation, and the world fell in love with his energy. That quiet, mysterious, soulful aura that nobody else had. Then came 2000, and when he dropped Voodoo, the game changed again. The album was darker, deeper, and even more intimate than before. But girl, when the untitled How Does It Feel music video dropped, that was it. Like, that moment is still one of the most talked about visuals in R&B history. D'Angelo standing there, bare, vulnerable, and singing straight to the soul. It was pure art. The video made him an icon, but it also made him uncomfortable. People started focusing more on his body than his craft, and it took a toll. He never wanted to be a sex symbol. He wanted to be respected as an artist. That's when fame started to feel heavy. And you know how it is, bestie. Sometimes when the spotlight gets too bright, it can burn. The pressure to stay perfect, to look a certain way, to deliver another masterpiece. It was a lot. D'Angelo started stepping back from the public eye. There were rumors of him struggling with personal demons, battling addiction, and trying to find himself again. But what's so real about him is that he never stopped being human. He went from being this flawless superstar to someone just trying to heal. And honestly, that made people love him even more. Because underneath all the fame, he was just a soul searching for peace. After years of silence, he came back out of nowhere with Black Messiah in 2014, and girl, it was worth the wait. The sound was mature, political, raw, and emotional. You could hear that time had shaped him, but his magic was still there. The music was heavier, reflecting the world we were living in. The pain, the hope, the resistance. That album reminded everyone that true artists don't chase trends. They speak truth. And that's what D'Angelo always did. He told stories through sound, using music to make people feel again. So when we say D'Angelo is a legend, it's not just about the Grammys or the fame. It's about the impact. He inspired a whole generation of artists to slow down, to focus on quality, and to lead with soul. His voice will forever be one of those that stops you mid-conversation, like, wait, who is that? And now that he's no longer with us, his legacy feels even more sacred. D'Angelo gave us art that transcends time, the kind that heals hearts and stirs spirits. He'll always be remembered as the man who made the world fall back in love with real music. Rest in peace to the one and only, the soul of Neo Soul, D'Angelo. Before we close this out, I just want to take a second and truly say thank you to D'Angelo. Thank you for giving us music that felt like home, for bringing back real R&B, the kind that touches the soul, not just the charts. He reminded us that vulnerability is strength, and that art isn't always about perfection. Sometimes it's about feeling. His legacy will live forever through the artists he's inspired, the lovers he soundtracked, and the souls he healed through his voice. The world might have lost a person, but heaven gained a melody that'll never fade. And to all my besties watching this, let this story be a reminder that your gift matters. D'Angelo didn't come from wealth or privilege. He came from faith, creativity, and heart. You might not see the full picture yet, but every talent, every idea, every dream you have can shape something beautiful. Just like him, you have the power to create something that lasts beyond you. Whether it's art, business, beauty, or even just spreading kindness, you are someone's inspiration. Don't ever dim your light, babe. If you love this story and want more deep dives like this, where we celebrate icons, talk real life, and sprinkle in a little glam and growth, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a little soul in their day. And if you love beauty and self-care the way D'Angelo loves soul, check out my online shop, where everything's made to make you feel confident, beautiful, and authentically you. Rest peacefully to the legend D'Angelo. And remember, y'all, real love, real music, and real energy never die. I love y'all. Stay soulful, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next video.